this is a demonstration that walks you through some of the basic function offered by Bloomberg. Now, Bloomberg is probably the most powerful platform that integrates data, news, and all the information about the financial market. Now, I access the Bloomberg service here through Bloomberg Anywhere. Well, you can also do that through your Bloomberg terminals. So once you log into your Bloomberg account, you're going to see a couple of different windows. So here you can start your search with the ticker. Now, the ticker can be for equity, can be for different portfolios, funds, fixed assets, and also the bonds, currency. So I'm going to go ahead and start the equity search. So let me just do Apple. So you're going to select Apple equity. Well, you can also do Apple loans if you are interested in the fixed income market. So let me just go ahead and do Apple equity. So then you'll see this window pop up. You're going to have different options to choose. If you are interested in company's overview, description, then you can go ahead and search all the information here. If you want to look at the company's fundamentals, then you're going to focus on the company analysis, financial analysis. If you want to know the analyst forecast, then you're going to see this research and estimates. So then if you want to look at its valuation, then you look at this comparable analytics. Charting and reporting will help you to get to know better of their price changes over time. And here for security surveillance, you're going to find different company events. So usually the stock price will be largely affected by the events happening to the firm. And also there are trade analytics and derivatives where you will have the information about the equity options for Apple. Now, we'll start from the basic to look at the security description here. Well, you'll have all the information about Apple summarized in just one page. Now you see this short description, what Apple is doing. It's manufacturer producing computers and personal mobile communication devices. And its historical price changes here, 52-week high, 52-week low. And here it's market cap, PE ratio, earnings per share, and Apple starts to pay dividends, and its cash dividend, its headquarters is in California. Its management team, the top management, so the CEO, COO, and also you can look at its ratios here, the basic information about the financial ratios. Are they having a good financial health? Okay, so here you're going to see all of those numbers calculated based on their financial statements. So if you want to do some fundamental analysis, so you're going to go ahead and choose the firm financial analyst here, or you can just type FA. That's the shortcut of this page. So you're going to see different fundamentals starting from 2018 to all the way to the most current period. Now, these are the firm fundamentals, and basically it's their accounting earnings, so revenues, gross profit, EBITDA, net income, and earnings per share. And you can also change it to here, for example, the operating income, and all the way here to their income statement. And this is probably their balance sheet and cash flow statement and their ratios. So looking at their return on equity, return on assets, return on capital, and return on invested capital. So you get the annualized number. So these are the annual number for the past 9 years. So also there are some variables about the margins. So whether they have profit margins or they rely on asset turnover, and their effective tax rates, they have been working on reducing their tax rate. Here, for business segments, so Apple is a pretty big firms, and their revenues can be breaking down into different segments. Now, some of them are related to their service, some of them is related to their software, iPad, iPod, iPhone, and computer. So these are some further breakdowns. Now, another function is the CN. So CN is a shortcut for corporate events. So these are all the events relevant to Apple. So of course you can choose the relevance importance level. So basically, I think Bloomberg, they assign the importance level to each of these news that is associated with Apple. If you're doing, for example, event studies, then this will be a pretty nice function. The CN function, pretty nice data that you can look at. So it's not necessarily related to earnings announcement, but these are all probably important news that may affect Apple's stock price. So another one that you can look at is SPLC, and that's the very interesting supply chain analysis. So you're gonna see the customers of Apple and also the suppliers of Apple. So again, if you look at the suppliers of Apple, those are a lot of semiconductor firms. You have Samsung, you have Taiwan semiconductor companies, and for their customers, mainly they are, for example, the Best Buy, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and all across US, and also from other countries as well. And let me just show you how about Tesla. So they have less customers, but most of them are, for example, Hertz, FedEx. Those of their consumers. And here there is some peers. So we can do North American automobiles peers. So there are Ford, General Motors, Lucid, Rivian. Okay, so these are their peers. Okay, so let me just go back to the example for Apple to introduce you with another interesting data. Go to okay, let me just type WACC. So this is the calculation for Apple's weighted average cost of capital. So Bloomberg calculated for us already based on their model. And it has been pretty stable around 9%. And then another data is called ANR. So that's Analyst Recommendation. So this is a very informative. So it summarizes all of those recommendations from analysts. So there are so many analysts since that is following Apple, since Apple is given its Apple's market size. So you're gonna see blue means buy, and then red, the yellow means hold, and red means sales. So overall, the market is still very bullish about Apple. So you're gonna see each of the analysts' name, its firm, and also its recommendation. So each of these analysts has its own model, even though they are looking at the same firm, but they will produce a different recommendation across a different target price even according to their own insight. Another useful variable is this corporate event, company event. Now you can choose the events that you are interested in, for example, earnings call, release, sales result, dividends, shareholder message, analyst marketing. And you have the event date, the firm, and the description. Another thing is you can go to company filings and download the company's accounting filings directly from Bloomberg instead of going to some online resources. So there will be a PDF file for 10Q, and a lot of time 10K will have a Excel file. So I feel like this is very convenient. So they will populate all those numbers in Excel directly for you. So if you want to do some calculation, you don't need to extract information from some PDF file. You can basically do your calculation based on the Excel file, based on the data that you downloaded directly from Bloomberg. Now, if you want to go to option, you're going to see some equity options on Apple. And these are everything you need to know about the calls, about the puts, and the expiration date, and the price, and also the exercise price. So that probably can conclude the equity data. So another macro level data that people always use is this economic calendar, so ECO. So these economic calendars is the calendar for different macroeconomic indicators or index. So for example, usually people will look at the, for example, unemployment rate, jobless claim, and PMI and CPI, the inflation and producer manufacturer index, and also the federal central bank interest rate. Now, there are a lot of index, and you're going to see that, okay, every day is an important day, but not every events they are important. So these R represents the relevance. So here, some important events are initial jobless claims. That's at weekly level. Every week you see this initial jobless claim. And sentiments index produced by University of Michigan based on some survey. And also consumer confidence index, also relevant, very similar to sentiment index. Durable goods orders, new home sales, manufacturing index, and also you're gonna see, for example, GDP is also an important macro indicators. So then another news relevance data is this top news. So it's not necessarily related to one specific firm or some specific asset. It's the current ongoing stories and news that attracts most the attention from the market. Now, all of this news, if you are logging into Bloomberg, they are free for you to read. However, if you access it from the website, you probably will see some warning about paying or subscribing to Bloomberg. But if you log into Bloomberg Terminal, then you can basically read all of those news for free. Okay, so some market level data. So this BTMN will tells you the treasury and also the LIBOR. So if you want to see, the interest rate, the risk-free rate, this is what people are looking at, the treasury. And also the LIBOR is here, T-bills. So FOMC meeting. So that's their announcement days, the range of the interest rate that's set for the Fed. So some interesting data. Bloomberg has very interesting data, so especially about the map. So they will use a map to show all of those commercial activities around the world. So let me just look at all of those natural gas pipeline. So I'm gonna do pipeline. So for North America region. Okay, and then you can see the busiest area is around the Texas area. So supplying the whole North American region. And also you can also choose COVID to see the COVID cases around the world. So I'll leave this part to you. You probably will spend a lot of time on this if you once get into this map function. So for other assets, we talk about equity and options data and also the fixed income market. So how about futures? So for futures, you can basically do CTM. So you have different futures to choose: commodities, currency, index, energy and environment. Let me just choose equity index. Okay, again, I'm not gonna go too deep for this. You can extract the index and the information that you want once you get into this area. Now, the Bloomberg Terminal is a place where you can look at the data. So how about downloading the data? Well, you can always copy and download, but that's not very efficient if you are interested in a large data. For example, you want to download different firms, different stock prices, different firms, fundamentals, and also different option contracts. And to do that efficiently, you probably need to go to Excel directly and use the Bloomberg add-ins to download it. And next, I'm gonna give you a short demonstration about how to use Excel to download the data from Bloomberg.